Hello today and welcome to the Proving Grounds. Today we're going to be talking about, probably for the next 2 weeks, Bloodstained. We're going to start with the first game, Bloodstained, Curse of the Moon. Originally a Kickstarter minigame that was a stretch goal that was supposed to set up the premise, the prequel, the setting of the game, but sadly that changed, so if you're interested in this as a story prospect to Ritual of the Night, you will be disappointed. Its story is not related, it is its own thing, but as a game, it is a wonderful game we're going to be talking about here. So, Ritual of the Blood is supposed to be a spiritual successor to Symphony of Night. Curse of the Moon could be said to be the spiritual successor to Castlevania 3's system of having parties and its platforming, and it is so good to me. But if you're looking for it to be super freaking hard, though, you might be a little disappointed in that front. It's definitely a lot more updated, friendly, you could say, but let's get into it. So, in Curse of the Moon, you play as Zagata, who's a side character in Ritual of Blood's universe. Now, he's the main character in Curse of Blood, while Maria, who's the main character in Ritual of Blood, is the first joinable character in Curse of the Moon. Alfred will be the second, and Jeeble will be the third, making your ragtag team of friends. Now, on another side, you can actually kill the characters, and Zagar will get additional powers that will help him through the stages. So you can choose to let them join or brutally murder them for different endings. Yay! So you got choices, you got different paths, and depending on the powers. Zagata is a sword-wielding guy. His sub-weapons is a holy water type sub-weapon and a whip that he can slash dying angrily upward only. Maria plays a lot like a Belmont. She uses a whip, she can slide, and her sub-weapons deal with a lot of knives and some throwable items. Alfred is a wizard with very short-range mace, but he can get powerful magics of defense and offense that can really change the tide in the battle. And then Jeeble, another shard bearer like Maria, he plays basically like Alucard. He can turn into a bat and he shoots little bats out of his cape. All of them have their different advantages. Oh, and he has no sub-weapon. He just has the bat thing. Anyway, they all have their advantages and disadvantages and their own health bars. So if a character is critically dying, you have the advantage to change to another character to prolong your attempts at survival. And of course change when that. Now, there is a weapon point system, but it doesn't use hearts, it uses little potions to represent them, while hearts represent refilling your health. Interesting, the first level is actually designed almost like it's intentionally trying to teach you that, because the very last candle in the first part, which has no enemies, no matter what mode you play in, drops a heart, while the first several drop you the weapon points. So it's almost like it intentionally trying to tell you hearts aren't weapon points or something. Kind of an interesting little thing. So you'll start the stage as Zagata alone through an open area with the moonlight and a train passing through as you go through the stages and fight multiple bosses while meeting the characters and either letting them join, murdering them, or whatever. Whatever path of choice you choose in that regard. But if you have played any of the NES Castlevanias, mainly 3, you will fall in heads over heels over this, I would imagine. The only negative I can really give is just it's a much easier. If you're somebody who wants a very grueling experience, this is a much easier and forgiving experience in my opinion. There is a casual mode and a veteran mode. Veteran mode has a life system, and it has a knockback. Now, personally, I would have preferred knockback being its own thing that you could turn on and off. Because even if I wanted to do casual mode, which I was only going to do, I did the whole thing on veteran mode, which actually personally surprised me, because I consider the old platforming Castlevania games really hard. So I was kind of surprised I even got through them, so if that means something to you, but The casual mode has no life system, so you can keep trying over and over again with no penalty, and it turns off knockback, which is, like I said, I would prefer that to be in its own separate thing, so you could have chose whether you wanted the lives or not, and whether you wanted knockback on or not, but you can't do that, so you have to do veteran mode if you want knockback to be on, so that's why I tried that first, but like I said, I went through the whole game like that. It is a pretty short experience, sadly. Though, to be fair, the Castlevania games, or a lot of the older ones, are pretty short as long as you know what you're doing and you don't die a lot. They can be pretty short, too, to be fair. But like I said, this isn't as hard. About a playthrough, if you generally have average play, I'd say anywhere between an hour and a half to 2 hours a playthrough. However, if you want the full story of Curse of the Moon, you're going to have to play the game twice. So going through the storyline with all the characters will unlock a second playthrough where the other 3 characters will go through all the stages by themselves as a team without Zingata, so his abilities won't be in your arsenal, but the other 3 characters will, which will give you new paths, because as you go through the beginning of the game as Zingata alone, you surely will notice some pathways you can't get to with him, but as you get the other characters, you'll notice, oh, if I had that then, I could have probably gone now. And all those opportunities are what you're going to get during the second playthrough. Now, when you do the second playthrough mode, it's its own mode. In Zingata, like I said, you don't get him at all. I'm not going to get into why yet. That'll go in the spoiler section. But you'll go through that mode and have a completely alternate boss at the end of that mode. So, if you want the full story, you're looking at probably 4 to 5 hours of full gameplay, which, for the, you know, it's a retro 8-bit game, that's not too bad. Like I said, the only thing that would probably really have extended a lot more, but would have been just making it really brutally hard, which it isn't, honestly. Now, digitally, actually, what was the digital price? It's been a while since I've seen it. Physically, the limited 1 release didn't go for too much when it was, well, released, but, you know, that's kind of changed a little bit, just a wee bit. I'm sure it's a little pricier, but if you're looking for the digital price, you're looking at a simple $9.99, which is a wonderful price, actually, for the digitally. However, if you want it through the means of a physical copy, I would immediately head to Best Buy now, because some of Limited 1 releases get a Best Buy one, and this is one of the games that Best Buy is going to have a limited quantity being carried. So if you're interested in the PS4 or Switch version, you want to go to Best Buy right now, because they have only a limited number of them. And they also have their own unique cover, if I remember correctly. But if by the time you watch this video, Best Buy is no longer selling them currently on eBay, if you want a copy, there are multiple Switch copies running between $29.99 to $50-ish. Those more higher ones. But I see quite a few copies in that one. But I see them keep going up and up. Holy crap, there's a lot of people with Switch copies, man. PS4 looks like, ooh, PS4 is running up higher. It looks like you're looking between $70 to $100 if you want a PS4 version, so definitely better off with the Switch version probably in that regard. Overall, though, is a fantastic throwback to Castlevania 3 for sure. It has a very nice subsystem. Like I said, Jibble is the only one who doesn't have a sub weapon. He just has his bat form, so he gets weapon points from sub items. And everyone else has 2 sub items except for Alfred? I think he had 3. Because he also has a special lantern, a green lantern, that always gives him a lightning spell. They at least have 2 each, I believe, except for Jeeble. I think Maria gets, like, I think she got, like, 4 of them? But, anyway, I liked it. I did enjoy it. It has a boss rush mode you can unlock, too. I didn't get to try that. And there's still a lot of secrets. There's still quite a few secrets. I actually watched a video showing off some secrets. And there's one clever one with water I didn't even think about. But there are a lot of little extras in this. But overall, in the end, outside the 2 playthroughs for the 2 different storylines, there's a few alternate bad endings and such. It is a good game, but it is more forgiving. So if you're looking for a really brutal game, if you either want a really brutal game or you want this for the prequel story, which doesn't matter anymore because they retconned the storyline, so it no longer matters for Ritual of the Night, I'd say pass the game. But obviously, if you want for the gameplay, I could definitely recommend it if you dig the retro platforming Castlevania scene, namely the NES the NES age. It is available on, I believe, PS4. Well, I mean, it is PS4. I'm holding a physical copy of it. I mean, it's on PS4, Xbox, Switch. I can't remember if this got a Vita digital download. It's not physical, that's for sure. If you want physical, it's only on Switch and PS4. It's also on Steam. Unlike Ritual of the Night, which got a GOG version, I don't think Curse of the Moon got a DRM free version. So I think you're kind of screwed if you're wanting that. Let me take a quick look here. DRM free. Because I don't recall, last time I remember, there was no word on a GOG version. Yes, there was currently no DRM free version of this game, which is very odd considering Ritual of the Night got one. There is a page for trying to get on GOG, so maybe one day it might end up on GOG since the main game is on GOG. Maybe go bug them about that on Twitter. That's a bit of a shame. Need a DRM free version for preserving. But overall, I did not experience any bugs or anything in this game either. I didn't have any problems with it, which we will be talking about a few of those for Ritual of the Night itself. This was a very well programmed game, very enjoyable. Sprites, music, it all was really good. So, I definitely can recommend it. $10 for the digital version is a fantastic, fine price. And of course, like I said, pretty sure $29.99 is the price it went for at GOG and at Best Buy, I believe. Yes, $29.99 is the price it's at Best Buy. So, if you're interested in a physical version of this, I would definitely go buy it now, because when they're gone, they're gone. Also, apparently, they're only doing the Switch version, not the PS4 version. So, sadly, that would probably explain why the price actually was a lot more on eBay, too, actually. So, honestly, $30 is a pretty okay price, to be honest, in my opinion, still. Even though if you, at most, are probably going to get like 5 hours if you do the 2 playthroughs and some of the extras, I think that's a fair price. This is a very well done and satisfying game still, even though it's much easier than the NES games. It's a lot more forgiving, but it still has a lot of the same tricks and ideas, just a lot nicer done, if you get what I mean now. So, if you got a Switch and you want a physical version, go buy it now. You don't want to miss out, because I'm sure that price will start going up. But if you don't mind digital, $10 is a steal, honestly. But $30, I'd say anything above $30 is probably pushing it. Which obviously means, like, you know, all those eBay ones are a bit hard to justify, and that's going to really depend on you. As for spoilers, spoiler warning. To get into the spoilers. So, like I said, the story won't matter for Ritual of Blood, so if you don't care about that, you don't have to be concerned about that. So, the story, the full story, you go through it, you can either get a bad ending where Zagata gets possessed by the evil, where they all die, or you can get the good ending where you recruit everyone and Zagata decides to sacrifice himself to save his newfound allies, and you'll unlock the second playthrough. Only by that means. You have to go through that path to unlock that mode. And through that mode, as I said, you'll go through the storyline as the 3 additional characters. Zagata gets possessed by the great evil, and they go and try and save him. This overrides the final stage with a new final stage where the 3 characters will get separated, and they will have to go through their own individually designed stage and boss. After this little Mega Man-ish-esque little part, you'll have to fight Zagata's possessed form. This boss fight is a little different from the rest of the game, though, because you thus forced to control our female Belmont character, while our whip-off wizard and discount Alucard get relegated to the ground. They become mechanics of the boss fight. During certain phases, they'll get back up and help you through a certain portion of the fight, defending or assisting you in your survival. I like this. It's an interesting, different take instead of just controlling all the different characters. And it really also forces you to learn the boss more, because you can't cheap shot change characters to keep your life higher and stuff. I liked the idea. Then after you take the boss down, you get a little, kind of little mini game where Alfred starts casting a spell, and you and Jeeble have to defend him from an onslaught of spell magic. And it's very simple, but it's a nice little touch. I kind of liked it. And sadly, they don't get to save Zagata, but they saved his soul. So they were able to free him from the darkness, and that was originally supposed to be a setup for Ritual of the Night, but that was all changed. So again, it does not matter for Ritual of the Night. And I'll talk about more on Ritual of the Night itself. I don't want to get into the story, but I have to say I'm a little still kind of confused on what was the whole big aha, this is a better idea in Ritual of the Night. But when we get to that, I'll talk more about my little minor gripes on that. But overall, this is a fantastic game. I cannot recommend it enough if you're into the classic platformer Castlevania games. Like I said, the only 2 negatives I can really think of somebody not liking this game is if they wanted it to be brutally hard, or if they just don't really like the classic Castlevania games and all of that. I mean, I don't really have a lot of complaints. I ran into no bugs or anything. Well, then it can be pretty short, like I said, considering it's a lot more forgiving, thus there's going to be a lot more repeating death. So, yeah, but overall, I definitely have to recommend it still. I definitely have to recommend it for anyone who's a hardcore Castlevania person through at least most, if not all, the series of Castlevania. I definitely have to recommend it. But anyway, I will leave you to your own little thoughts. If you feel like this review was helpful or taught you anything at all, please feel free to leave a like. And if you feel like it was completely worthless, leave a dislike. Guilt-free. Until next time, be careful out there on the proving grounds. Make sure you gather some shards for the next game, because you're gonna need them.
どうだった？私の作った